Good morning. This is Ursula Carver, Grand Canyon University SPED 590 class, and today and tomorrow are teacher work days, and I'm here bright and early. And as you can see by our school motto, it's Believe, Achieve, Succeed. And we're also reading Culturize, which is every student, every day, whatever it takes. So that's sort of the motto for this presentation in adherence with the INTAS standards. More soon. Bye-bye. Hello. So it's a teacher work day, and what I've done is I have 4 kinders and 4 first graders in my non-categorized special education class. And what I've done to reduce behaviors and increase academics is divide my room into 2 sections. I have 3 assistants. This is the academic side. As you can see, we've got everybody really spaced out with all of their names and their stations. And there's our smart board. And what I'm doing today is I've already done report cards, and today I am finishing up all of my students' first quarter progress notes. And that's just a nice way to keep parents informed. And the way I do that, I'll go into that later. I keep binders on all of my kids and follow them out throughout the day, and just take lots of data on all of the work that they're doing. My second room is over here, and we're using this as a calming center, creative play, and play area. So what I have, they're actually down right now. I make drawings for my students, and then what they do, and I post them on the walls. Here's a couple. And then I change them, whenever they're done. So every couple days, or every day, or every week, kind of depends. They like some characters better than others. And then I have tables so that we can paint and do Play-Doh and have creative play. And this is just a really good room to decompress, recenter, regroup, and then rejoin the main group when they're ready. I have a sensory table. It's full of Legos, which are easy to wipe down and keep clean. And let's see. Some of the things I put up in the hallway are I send all of the students' work home. But we have a fire truck, and we have our global citizens, which we celebrate our differences. We respect others. We make the world a better place. We are all connected, and we promote peace. So I think that's a really nice theme for my classroom. And of course, we have the No Drama Llama piece. That's just something fun put in the room to keep everybody happy and peaceful. And then we made our giving tree with all of the little animals, and which is neat because we can change the leaves out when the seasons change. And what else? Oh, what's nice is we have quick access to the small playground, which is great for little brain breaks. And that's a reward that my students can work towards. I've got my key, we can walk out. And it's amazing, just 5-10 minutes of fresh air is really incredible, just to recenter, refocus. It's just a short walk, so I'm quite fortunate to have that. Here we go. And this is the playground for younger children. So it'll be like the pre's and the K's and the first graders out here. So it's quite nice. And then right next door we have a small track, which is fun. And the kids can run around and dribble and practice their, just calisthenics. So everyone's into something just a little bit different, which is great, which makes our classroom really special. So right now I am working on progress notes. I have 2 computers going because I'm also working on my in-test standards on my school laptop. This is my GCU laptop, and this is my Glen Forest Elementary laptop. The progress notes all get put into here, and I have binders on all of my students. And what I've done, so what I've done, this is a student that we need to write all new goals for reading, writing, counting, and adding. And some of the data sheets I capture on all of my students. So how I know about all of their favorite characters and things they like. I have a send home form that the parents complete, and just their favorite snacks, toys, electronics, shows, hobbies, books, other things. This particular student likes to talk and communicate with others. And then I also ask the parents to rate their child's motivation level for things like iPad, computer, video games, Play-Doh, sensory toys, reading, drawing, coloring, TV, outdoor play, Legos, favorite snacks, listening to music, bubbles, and then other. And then a really important one I ask parents to complete is when frustrated or upset, what is most comforting for your child? So that way I know how to help each student and to tie what they like into academics. Here's just a sample of some work. So this is the same and different worksheet, and it's just matching scarecrows. We also work a lot on cutting, pasting, and pre-writing skills. So this is a dinosaur match. So it's based on the book Dinosaur Goes to School. And so my students have to color the pictures and then cut them out. And then some things go to school and some things are dinosaurs. So that's a lot of fun. Another thing we do for pre-writing is we do a lot of tracing. So this is our dynamite writing. And so first they trace in pencil, and then they trace in marker, and they can color the picture. Let's see, here is, we learn a new letter every week. So this is the letter G. And as you can see, for pre-writing, we trace, we have the letter, and then we follow the dotted line, and then we write the upper and lowercase letters. And then if assistance is necessary, further assistance, my assistants and I will have highlighted letters for them to continue to trace. And then for each student, I have pages on each goal. So the goals will be in categories such as social, communication, writing, adaptive, and I have a table where I put the dates with a plus or minus, whether or not the goal has been reached on the specified number of trials that's required in the IEP. And then I take notes on each of those below. So you just end up with pages and pages per student. That way I really get a good understanding of where they are, where they need to be, what they could be doing, and whether they're meeting, exceeding, or not meeting their goals. Just another example of student work. So this was, let's see, the letter C. So it was colored, the items that were, start with a letter C. This particular student colored all of the items, but and needed the C's written in highlighter to be traced. So we're still working on that. And then, so the whole, and then just assessing this, every single picture is colored in completely and not within the lines, and only using a favorite color. So that's something we want to expand beyond. Here's an example of our vocabulary journals. So what we do is write all of the words. So back, be, because, but. We write all of those in highlighter, and the students trace them, and they get a new sheet every week. And then for pre-writing, it's trace the student to the backpack. So we're just learning how to do lines, making curves of letters, up, across, diagonal. So just lots of pre-writing skills there. Let's see, we've got counting. Oh, here's another great pre-writing sheet. You can see that this student is really grasping the concept of a deep curve, a down, up, down, the zigzag, and then the half circle, and then a smaller zigzag. So the smaller the half circles and the smaller the zigzag, the more complicated the pre-writing skills. This is just a counting sheet. So this has trace the number, count the fingers, and then dot how many you see. So that's a trifecta right there. Another counting skill is match the number in the pictures. So this is busy bees. And so let's see, if we have 8 bees, then you have to match the number 8, the word 8, to the picture of the 8 bees. And that's just another way to get students to express their knowledge of numbers. Another great thing is to have students draw themselves. So she, this is just very simple. She drew a large circle with 3 smaller circles, but you can clearly see there's 2 eyes and a mouth, and then the oblong shape for the head. So that's great for kindergarten. And then let's see, I'm just working on same and different. That's something we want them to grasp is, are the pictures the same? So these 2 similar things, like there's 2 cars, and they're different. So we want the students to recognize that. And then the teacups are the same. And then just more practice in lowercase writing. And then writing our names. A lot of my students are still working on their names and recognizing the letters in their names. So that's what I am writing progress notes on, and more soon. Student development. By combining my students' interests to content, I enable each student to advance and accelerate in their learning. I've taken into account their individual students' strengths and special needs and make sure the content is developmentally appropriate and adheres to their IEP goals and objectives. I continue to utilize adaptive technology, provide frequent breaks and transitions, favorite characters, inclusion in general education, and adhere to their individual education plans. This is based around schedules, feeding, social skills, communication needs, as well as math, behavior modification, and language arts. Social studies and science. So, for example, a student with the goal to engage in a variety of cooperative activities with a play partner in my kindergarten and first grade non-categorized multiple disabilities class, I work around the schedule to teach content, collect data, and this is from my assistants and colleagues, and it provides a well-rounded education and helps with student development. I believe that working with the families, colleagues, and other professionals in the building is important to promote student growth and development in areas such as behavior, goal planning, data collection, feeding, special needs, and other ways to optimize my student success in having a well-rounded education experience that best suits their individual learning needs. For example, in preparation for an IEP meeting, I met with my mentor, department chair, adaptive PE, occupational therapy teacher, and spoke with the principal and parent in a pre-meeting to prep for the IEP. With this guidance and truly knowing my students, we were able to write all new goals and objectives and have a successful meeting with everyone working together with the common goal to help my student learn to the best of her ability. Learning differences. Having a non-categorized multi-disabilities class mandates that I have flexibility and put a lot of planning and effort into the design, adaptations, and delivery of my instruction. To address each of my students' special needs, diverse learning strengths, and needs, because all of my students are at different capability levels. With the assistance of my mentor, department chair, and other teachers, I've been able to create opportunities for my students to demonstrate their learning in different ways. I try to make connections to language, art, science, math by incorporating weekly themes. For example, when we studied the letter G, I made an 8-foot giraffe to create interest, and my students drew, colored, or dot painted goats, gates, gum, games, and other. Another teacher offered a book to read, and my department chair gave me letter G tracing and pre-writing activities. Another example is when we studied pumpkins. We read about pumpkins, watched a Blippi video about and drew pumpkins, sorted and counted fruit manipulatives, and created crafts based on pumpkins. So I continue to incorporate language development tools into planning and instruction by working through sight words daily, short 3-word and 4-word sentences, and reading to my students. My students also review Smartboard books and educational informative videos. I believe it's important to have content accessible to my English language learners. We repeat words and use pictures to guide reading in addition to the use of adaptive technology to translate. I continue to use software, it's called Unity, in my classroom for my ELLs, English language learners. This makes evaluating and supporting their development, speaking English, more possible. My department has collaborative teaching meetings, and that's been a valuable resource for me as a new teacher, because I can hear what all of the other teachers are doing or have done, and how they do things. So I benefit so much from learning from all of the other teachers, and I'm also very fortunate to work for a county with such great resources and support systems in place. There's so many services and assistance available that I can use for all of my students' different needs, and just working with my mentor and other teachers in the building. There's a lot of online tools for professional development that I can take as well. Learning environment. I continue to manage the learning environment, which actively and equitably engages my young learners. I try to keep my team and students engaged by organizing and coordinating the resources of time, space, and student attention that's necessary, because most of my students have developmental delays, autism, and intellectual disabilities. Slow, repetitive speech, reading, and writing is important to incorporate new concepts and materials so my students are not overwhelmed. I both respectfully and responsively verbalize and use nonverbal communication, which is important when working with such a diverse classroom. And my students bring different perspectives to the learning environment. Not all of my students celebrate Halloween, for example. So my school hosted a favorite book character day and parade, which all of my students were able to enjoy at their different levels. Also in class, I use things like nonverbal picture communication boards that my students can just point to their needs, which is very helpful, and it's just a simple way to get what they need and want across. And then we have a wonderful admin and behavior specialists to guide us on this journey, because we continue to work on behaviors. We do things like take brain breaks, and this week we are implementing a brain break box for students who require breaks from the academics, in addition to holding things up, like the small laminated sign for reminders like walk quietly, have calm hands, have a calm body. We also have a thumbs up, good job, thumbs down, let's change our behavior. Let's see. I also divided my large room into 2 smaller rooms. So the smartboard side is primarily the academic side, and the large table side is the creative learning and calming center. This gives my team 2 rooms for creative play and small group work. I also strategically place student seating and individual seating set up so my students can learn in different ways that are conducive to how they learn. And then hopefully this will help us reduce the negative behaviors. Content knowledge. When working in a non-categorized kinder and first grade special education class, I think it's important to stimulate student reflection on prior knowledge. So we go over content in many ways, such as rereading, rewriting, lots of repetition and recapping concepts, rules, and the material that we've learned. I try to tie in connections to familiar concepts and favorite characters to ensure that my students are grasping the ideas. This is done through informal Q&A discussions, creative arts, play, worksheets using the smartboard, and I use supplementary resources and tech. This ensures accessibility and relevance for all students. For example, learning a new letter every week is reinforced by UDL, Universal Design Learning, on the smartboard and through creative play. I also have letter and sight word vocab journals. I always draw, or once a week, I draw an oversized character in the hallway outside our door, and my students will color, paint, or paste collages of the character or a similar idea around the letter. This gives them a chance to be proud of their work to the whole school, and it's something that they want to work on and towards, and engages them more in academics. So every moment is an opportunity to find opportunities and moments to learn, practice, and master academic language in their content area in all aspects of their day. Even for myself as a new teacher, other teachers, my assistants, my mentor, department chair, admin, and other professionals in the building offered me advice, help, and ideas that have worked for them throughout their careers. And I have found that to be so helpful, and I truly appreciate everything everyone does. And of course, it wouldn't be Teacher Work Day without all of us in line for the copier. So I'm going into my second parent teacher conference of the day on Teacher Work Day, and I am in my classroom, and I've gone over all of my notes, and I'm ready to present. In my first meeting, my parent was very helpful and gave me some more tidbits on strategies for her student. So I'm quite pleased. It was a very good meeting, and I'm looking forward to talking to the next set of parents. And this is a pre-meeting meeting on Zoom through our Schoology platform. So I just finished my fourth meeting of today, and I am in the copier room getting ready for the quarter, and lots to do, lots going on, and I am going into another meeting shortly. So it's been a very productive, very good day so far. So I'm back in the copy room, and I just had another meeting, and I've got another coming up shortly. So I'm still working on putting together little books of nouns and adjectives and frequently used sight words and common vocab words. Since it is the week after Halloween, I thought it would be good to do a unit on dental health. So, and what this looks like is there's a vocab sheet for day one, cut, color, paste, dentist, same and different, and then dental concepts. So you place the tooth like on the chair, under the chair, over the chair, next to the chair, in between the dentist and the chair, that type of thing. It's just a fun activity. And then just some dental questions like who takes care of your teeth? What do you use to brush your teeth? So that's a great activity. Let's see, sight words like after. So find the word after. Oops, daisies. Write or trace the word after. Write the word after. And then glue the word after in order in the box. And then I also wanted to do a send home book report for this quarter, due at the end of the quarter, and it's read a book at home with your families and then fill it out. So draw a picture of what the cover looks like. Oops, daisies. The story is about setting, problem, title, author, favorite part, character, solution, and I give this book how many stars. And that's something fun that they can do together as a family at home and instill the love of reading. Standard 5, application of content. I encourage and engage my young learners to apply the content knowledge to real-world problems through academics, creative play, art, weekly themes such as pumpkins, Thanksgiving, community helpers, kindness, respect, etc. I also try to facilitate my students' ability to develop diverse social and cultural perspectives that expand their understanding of local and global issues and create novel approaches to solving problems through interactive play and lesson content as stated above. For example, when asked why another student wasn't dressed up for Halloween, my assistants and I remind them that we are enjoying Favorite Book Character Day and not everyone has to dress up as a book. Standard 6, assessment. Assessments can be done in any moment. My informal assessments match current IEP goals and objectives. I try to match my learners' objectives by utilizing content that corresponds to Common Core standards. I apply those to the objectives and goals in their daily coursework. I keep binders on each student of all assessments and weekly go through each student's goals and objectives with their classwork to properly document. Doing so consistently minimizes sources of bias that could potentially distort assessment results. And I also work independently and collaboratively with my colleagues to review data. For example, my kinders are pulled out for pause formal testing for about 15 minutes at a time individually, and then they come back to my classroom. And this helps us get a solid understanding of each student's progress and guide planning for future work and assessments. My students work on content that applies towards their individual objectives and goals within each of their IEPs. And sometimes there's an overlap of goals and sometimes not between what they're working on. It really depends on the needs of each individual. Standard 7, planning for instruction. As I learn my students better, I'm able to understand and work through their objectives and goals better. This helps me plan ways for them to be successful within their learning goals. So I had a really productive day today, and I got all of November planned out, and I'm ready to plan out December tomorrow, or to finalize December tomorrow. So that'll be good. It also helps me find opportunities to learn strategies and accommodations, resources, and materials to differentiate their instruction for their unique learning needs. For example, a student who's very clever but is not performing to the best of his ability and easily distracted, who also requires frequent brain breaks and transitions, is starting a brain box this week. So that'll be good for breaks to take, just a brain break, and this will be initiated on his own or teacher facilitated, and it'll have a timer and a few favorite things, and then when ready to return to work, can do so. I work to appropriately sequence my young learners' experiences through providing multiple ways to demonstrate knowledge and skill. An example would be allowing students to take movement breaks with things like dancing, like the Wiggles, or 5 to 10 minutes out on the playground as a reward. And based on formative and summative data that we capture, I can better plan their instruction. I also incorporate prior student knowledge and their interests for the weekly lesson. So for example, for H, utilize their interest in helicopters. They fly over our playground and the kids think it's really cool. And so we painted those. And then I let them choose between horses and hippos. We actually voted, and hippos won. So the kids decided hippos would be more fun to paint, which is it was a lot of fun. Let's see. Moving into standard 8, I continue to be very flexible and accommodating by varying my role in the instructional process in relation to the content, the purpose of instruction, and student needs. As a new teacher, I rely on the expertise of my department chair, my assistant, admin, other professionals at school. With such a diverse classroom, sometimes I'm the presenter, sometimes my students work with the instructional assistants, sometimes I have my students teach us. We work in small groups or whole groups. We're really flexible. And my students continue to engage in my classroom by interacting with manipulatives, reading, writing, cutting, coloring, through interactive play, depending on the nature of their IEPs. For example, a few students with behavior goals are rewarded with a little extra recess for attempting and even completing classwork, sticking to class rules and school rules. My team and I frequently prompt discussions and interact with the WH questions, and that serve different purposes. For example, a student with who and where goals would be asked, who is this peer, or where does this go? My assistants report to me after every special class they go to, so it's like art, PE, music, library, and the general education inclusion that my kids go to, for me to jot down notes on their academics and behaviors. And standard 9, professional learning and ethical practice. So for this, I really do feel like I'm fortunate to work at a school where everyone, other teachers, my assistants, admin, other professionals are just really willing to share what they know. It's like you don't know what you don't know until you don't know. And everyone wants my classroom to succeed. So I'm really pleased with that. So I continue to independently and in collaboration with other teachers and professionals in school use a variety of data to evaluate the outcomes of teaching and learning and to adapt planning and practice. For example, after school on Friday, my assistant principal, adaptive behavior coach, department chair, we all stayed after to talk about my students and to help them to set themselves up for success in second quarter. I continue to seek professional, community, and technological resources within and outside of school. Having such a supportive environment helps me for
analysis, reflection, and problem solving. In addition to participating in county provided development, I have bi-weekly mentor meetings, bi-weekly department meetings, and I'm going to start attending the kindergarten teachers language art meetings on Tuesdays and the kindergarten teacher math meetings on Thursdays. So it's pretty packed professional learning and continued education for myself also through this experience, which is wonderful. Let's see, the last standard 10, leadership and collaboration. So I am a new leader for 3 very knowledgeable, experienced assistants. I try to make sure that they get all of their breaks, both scheduled for the full amount of time, which can be tricky with all of our kids' different schedules, and then brain breaks as needed. I try to just jump in and cover, if they need to just, I don't know, go walk to the library to return a book just to get out of the classroom for a little bit. I really try to be supportive. I also lead by leading my students. I continue to use technology and a variety of communication strategies, such as like the interactive smartboard, ATS devices. They both engage the students to the best of their abilities. And I do my best to advocate to meet the needs of my students, to strengthen the learning environment, and to enact system change. So for example, my students continue to have very busy schedules packed with activities, academics, and creative, and I have to be very flexible to accommodate their needs within the busy day. So logistics for kindergarten and first grade in the same non-categorized mild to moderate disabilities class is tricky, because we have specials for art, music, PE, adaptive PE, speech, OT, in conjunction with the assistant's time taken away from the other students if an assistant goes with them, and then direction in addition to managing student behavior and classroom learning productivity. So we've got a lot going on in our little classroom, but it's very rewarding, and I'm happy to be there. Thank you. Bye-bye.